the ANC is currently in the process of nominating people who will lead the century-old party beyond the December elective conference. Provinces including Mpumalanga, Limpopo and the Eastern Cape have already endorsed party president Cyril Ramaphosa for a second term, but the governing party has been blamed for high levels of poverty, crime and unemployment in the country as it continues to be haunted itself by factionalism, allegations of corruption and a major decline in voter support. So let's bring in the ANC's NEC member and Presidency Head, Party Presidency Head that is, Sibongile Besani, joins us this morning. It's great to have you with us on the program, Sibongile. And it's a big question, isn't it? What's the kind of leadership, what's the caliber of leadership that the ANC is looking for and that the ANC needs?
Look, the ANC needs a leadership that is committed to the task at hand to serve the people. Leadership that is able to go an extra mile to ensure that all our plans that are in place get implemented to the best interest of not only party members but citizens of the country. And it is also about the capacity and capability of those leaders with requisite skills.
Mm. So the ANC branch nomination process and lobbying has, of course, started. Will there be guidelines issued to branches?
Guidelines have already been issued to the branches. The branches, they know that the process has actually started for, nomination from the 12th this month. Mm. And these guidelines are quite important in that they also indicate the rigor of the process in relation to how should the branches go about nominations and who qualifies and who does not qualify. So that process is underway. Our branches are taking the process quite seriously, and there is quite a lot of activity in this regard starting from Monday.
Sibongile, before you continue, can I just ask you to turn your video back on? I think you turned it off by mistake at the start of our discussion. The process of nominating leaders, leaders who will be contesting particularly for top 6 positions and NEC positions. Things are going to be done slightly differently, as I understand it, this time around. I mean, is it a way of keeping particular people, particularly people who are perhaps implicated in serious legal challenges, out of these top ANC structures?
Look, we have a process on how we deal with areas of malfeasance. And that process is elaborated in our guidelines. But as you would know, there are conference resolutions on how members who are indicted of corruption should be handled. Obviously, they will not be part of the process. So the issue here is that the guidelines are clear and they are related to the conference resolutions. So there is no confusion on how this process should be undertaken and how our policies should be adhered to.
Yeah. The President already being nominated, or his name already being pronounced for a second term by particular provinces, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, the Northwest and the Eastern Cape, for him to be re-elected for a second term in December. What has been his response to that?
Look, the response of the President is very simple. You wait for a nomination process. So it's a principled response that everybody who is to be elected at an ANC conference has got to allow the structures of the ANC to pronounce themselves. Nobody goes to people and say, I want to be this, but it is the structures that must speak, and flowing from that, people must respect, people will respect the nomination process by accepting the nomination. Mm. That's what normally happens.
The National Assembly has now announced, in fact just last night, that 3-member panel that will now be looking into whether there is a case to answer on the part of the President insofar as the Pala robbery at his game farm in Limpopo is concerned. What would have been the directive, Sibongile, to ANC MPs on how that process needs to be dealt with in Parliament?
Well, as you would know that the members of the National Assembly are also required to conduct oversight on the executive. Therefore, that oversight cannot be tempered by being too preemptive. So currently, the attitude of the presidency is that the process must be respected, and based on that process, the outcome will also be respected. And the party members, of course, the party will develop an attitude or a posture on those outcomes. But the principal posture of the party is that let's allow the members of the National Assembly to conduct oversight. Let's allow the process of the National Assembly to be conducted untempered.
The President has come under incredible criticism for his own handling of the Phala Phala saga, or at least his response to the saga since it first emerged that there was this robbery at his game farm. He's not wanted to answer any questions from MPs in the National Assembly. One just wonders how much that will haunt him in the build-up to December.
Well, some of the criticism in fact, many of the criticism on the response of the president, I think it's unfair. The point here is there is a case that cast a lot of aspersion or made serious allegations on the part of the president. And the president is cooperating with the investigations of the police and various institutions. Now, whilst these investigations are taking place and so on, it would be unfair for the president then to try and respond comprehensively to the public, because he might be accused of trying to influence the process. The attitude of the president has been that let's allow the legal processes to unfold and respect them untempered. And the president, like any other person, must also be afforded the opportunity to respond to those institutions. Because every time he tries to respond comprehensively to this, he will be accused of trying to influence the process. So I think the attitude of the president is quite fair, that we give all legal institutions, the law enforcement institutions, their chance to investigate untempered.
You're sort of saying it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that the president is in. Is it fair, though, for you to say that the president, like any other person, has a right to do this and that, because he isn't like any other person?
Well, indeed, he's the first citizen. Obviously, he's subjected to a number of rules, and I think he's acting likewise. For an example, the president has got to go through various institutions for investigation, but what is important here is that once the law has got to take its course, the president must be subjected to the same scrutiny that other people are subjected to. The point here is he is not above the law. I think that's the sense that we're trying to say when we say like any other person. The president cannot be seen to be treated differently by the law, or especially with regards to him being treated favorably as against other people. That's the point we're trying to make.
Well, you're in the ANC NEC structure yourself, Sibongile. Would you accept any nomination for a top 6 position?
Well, like I'm an NEC member, it means when I was nominated, I accepted the nomination. If members of the ANC feel the same about me, I will accept any nomination if it's done in my name. I'll definitely do that.
Sibongile Besani is the ANC's Presidency Head. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning.